Welcome. This is a continuation of my series on INTJ grieving with my third session with Staci Colt Curtson. Session 3, More Memories. "Hello, Staci," I said. Staci Colt Curtson wore a long denim skirt and a loose-fitting purple blouse with bell sleeves that fluttered around her wrists. Her feet were protected with stout hiking boots, and she was surrounded by tall trees on every side. Staci took a deep breath and said, "Al, you've caught me on a hike. The others have gone ahead to find a good camping site." "Is this a bad time to talk?" I asked. "They tend to forget about me," Staci said, "and only remember that I am bringing up the rear after they are settling in. We should have plenty of time." "I have," I said, "been running the idea of memories around in my head and trying to sort them out, but I'm not sure if I'm making progress or not." "Okay," Staci said. "Picture a time in the past when you were all alone. Dotti was sitting in the other room or out visiting family, and you were hit with a memory. It was a wonderful one of when you and Dotti did something fun together. How did it make you feel?" "Happy," I said. "It was a great memory." "And yet," Staci said, "you knew that the event was in the past, and as we discussed, that means it was over and you couldn't touch it. You could never go back and enjoy that time again. It is gone. But remembering it brought you joy." "It was beautiful," I said, remembering things like that. "I learned a technique for dealing with physical pain, where I would mentally move to my serenity place, and the pain was left behind me. I used it in the dentist's chair many times." Staci kicked a stone out of the path and took another deep breath. She said, "What was your serenity place?" "It was a hotel room," I said, "in a little Oregon town called Rockaway Beach." "A real place?" Staci asked. "Yes," I said. "It was also more or less a real memory. It was around 20 years ago. The room had lots of space and a fireplace. We brought the clean burning logs they required us to use, and I had a nice fire burning. The hotel was built upon stilts, keeping it up off the beach sand, and our room was an end unit, with windows on two sides. The sliding glass door faced west, and it led out onto our balcony. The north wall had a long string of windows, through which we could see the waves for miles down the beach." "Is that it?" Staci asked. "Or are there more details?" The sound of a running stream had come up on her left. "First off," I said, "there is a whole package of precious memories for me that are associated with that room. We were there many times, and every time it was wonderful. But at this instant in time, the sliding glass door is standing open, with only a screen between us and the outside. We can hear the ocean waves. Dotti is wearing a long-sleeved shirt. She is thin, and her hair is long, but with bangs. I have moved the couch around to face west, with the fire crackling on our left. Dotti and I are sitting together on the couch. And do you know when the magic happens?" "What magic?" Staci asked in surprise. "The point where I can disconnect from the world around me," I said. "When the dentist is drilling, either without Novocaine or when it's wearing off, and I leave the pain behind as though it were happening to someone else. That magic." "When does it happen?" Staci asked. "When I reach around," I said, "and put my left arm behind Dotti and pull her close to me. Suddenly I am there, fully in my serenity place. And Staci, nothing else matters. I have escaped the unhappy world and entered my own little world." "That's a good trick," Staci said. "You fully escaped into a memory for a time. Is that what you normally do when you think of memories with Dotti?" "No," I said. "That is a special case. I had to work on that one to learn how to use it. Normally, I just think about the event and how much fun it was." "Did you," Staci said, "normally think about the fact that the event you are visiting in your memory is over and gone?" "Sometimes," I said. "There was a twinge of regret that I couldn't go back and truly live it over again. I have often thought it would be wonderful to go back to our first year of marriage on Midway Island and simply live it all over again. Our life had many bumps in the road, but they were nothing compared with the fun we had and the love we shared." "However," Staci said, "you then realized that this would be impossible." "Of course. And perhaps even more troubling, At some point you would find that even the happy repetition would lose its flavor. Sadly, I said, there is just no way out of the box. Yes, Staci said. Big picture, there is no way out of the box. All things are finite, and they will end. Everything you do will end up in the stone carvings of the past, and you will cease to exist, just like Dotti has. It will be over and done with, for good. But Al, that was always true, even when Dotti was a young bride, and you two were living together in bliss. But you were very happy, even though that was true. Absolutely, I said. We had so much fun doing things, just the two of us. It hardly mattered what it was. We loved being together. One time I had my digital audio recorder with me, and while Dotti had gone into a store, I waited in the car and was talking into the recorder to save some ideas I was going over. When Dotti got back to the car, I slipped the recorder into my shirt pocket, and I thought it was off. But it was still recording. Later on, I listened to the recording, and I called Dotti into my office and went over it with her. I told her, "You know, we are pretty fun people." The back and forth was enjoyable to listen to. It had captured our interactions that went on all the time. "Step back," Staci said, "to your point about enjoying memories, even though you knew you could never go back to them. I think there is a key here that might help you unlock your jail cell." "How so?" I asked. "You still have those memories, correct?" Staci asked. "That has not changed." "True," I said. "But," Staci said, "your ability to ignore the fact that a beautiful memory can't be touched or physically revisited has been broken by Dotti's death. You hit a hard stop, so that now all your memories lead back to the fact that Dotti is gone." "Occasionally," I said, "I can still see a memory, and it does still bring me joy. But overall, you are right. They lead my mind back to Dotti's death." "Let's see," Staci said, "if we can find the solution. What is different about the memories you can still enjoy and the ones you can't?" "Time," I said. "When the memory is far enough back in the past so that Dotti and I were still almost kids, I realized that if I really went back there today, I could never keep up with Dotti or with our lifestyle. I'm old now and very limited in what I can do. It is almost like watching someone else." "So," Staci said, "it seems alien to the you of today. You understand that even if the door of the past were open to you, to walk through it as an old man would bring you no joy." "Yes," I said. "Time takes everything away, a bit at a time. You don't notice it until it has already happened." "Perhaps," Staci said, "we can determine a dividing line, a point in time where you can go and safely visit your memories of and with Dotti." "Maybe," I said. "During that time in my Serenity place, Dotti and I were so physically different from the way we are today." Oh, I did it again. "We are" isn't a thing any longer. I am, and Dotti recently was. But the state we were in at the start of this year was so utterly different from who we were 20 years ago, my memory is like visiting completely different people. "What if you go back to 10 years ago?" Staci asked. The stream cut across her path ahead, and she had to slow down and walk carefully, stepping on flat-topped stones that were placed in the water to allow safe passage across the stream. She tested each stone before putting her full weight on it, to make sure it wouldn't wobble. "We were, of course," I said, "physically much closer to how we were at the start of this year. Those 10 intervening years had taken a real toll. Compared with this year, we were more robust in most ways. But Dotti suffered from arthritis in both of her hips, and 10 years ago she had them both replaced. Otherwise, she probably would have been in a wheelchair for the time since then. But the new hips were very effective, and we took walks and did things we couldn't do this year. However, her balance was never as good after the hips were done, and walking across uneven ground was difficult for her. It was a significant change." "This seems like a potentially rewarding idea to pursue," Staci said. "If you clarify your understanding of how the past differs from the present, and realize that even if Dotti were alive today, the memories could never be relived by you in your current physical state, it might open up the door for you to look back and find the same joy that you formerly did. You might create many safe and happy places to visit in your memories of the past. You need not be limited to just one serenity place, but you may find you can enjoy many such memories. Staci, I said, that would be most welcome, but there is still the present to contend with. This is not going to be easy, Staci said, but I honestly feel confident that there is a way out of your situation that will lead to some true happiness in the future. But it feels so dark today, I said. If you are going to succeed, Staci said, you must face the darkness for now, so that you can enter the light later on. Take it on faith that a better day is out there, and you will enter into it. In the meantime, you and I will continue to work towards a solution. Deal? It's a deal, I said. Thank you, Staci. I truly want to help, she said. Helping you is helping me. Do you hear those voices ahead of me? Yes, I said. Those people are my family, Staci said. I am intent on finding a way to deal with the loss of one or more of them should it occur. I am unprepared, and talking with you has shown me how very dangerous it is to experience such a loss with no preparation. You were struck a mighty blow. You were staggering and ready to fall into the abyss, but you didn't give up. Al, please never give up, because there is hope for the future, and you and I are going to find the way to it. Trust me, for my confidence is very high that we will succeed. I will continue to face the dark days, I said. Your confidence is noted, and I will accept it as being valid. You have been a great help, and I am sure that you will be even more help in the future as we dig deeper into this problem. And if it helps you too, that is an added reward for me, because as I told you before, I only wish good things to all the people who live in the Colt Valley. Goodbye, Al, Staci said. I am almost to the campsite. Goodbye, Staci, I said, and thank you. I cut the connection. This is the third part of a series of internal discussions with Staci Colt Curtson on the planet of Addis. I am working through my grieving process to try and reach a state of peace, with a purpose to living my life. I have chosen this method because it feels right to me. If you wish, you are welcome to join me in this journey to peace.